And here we go. Now, there was me. I was going to drop the videos and go quiet for a while. But it actually turned quite cold out, so I'm not inspired to go outside. And The Guardian has got an article, including comments, on free will. How can a boy resist? So I'll run down it just for old time's sake. It's really quite interesting to know what the great British public thinks on free will, because of course I don't know. I've got the YouTubes, and that's it. That's all I know about. So, should we crack in? So that's all it's going to be. Guardian comments, me talking about it, them talking about it, free will. So you've heard it all before. Nothing's going to be new. So here we go. The top comment I don't really understand. So the comment below it's got one more thumbs up. Just about everyone. It's about working hard and luck. But the implication is there for free will, and everyone's picked up on it. That's what it's about. That's simply not true, that just about everyone works hard. The fact that the hardest working do not always get to the top because some lazy people had the luck to be born in a better environment is no basis for such a sweeping philosophy. Forget all that. Whereby, since everything is predetermined, there is no point in making any effort. Now, I've come across this one quite a few times. Everything's predetermined. That's what going at me. Everything's predetermined, so there's no point doing anything. And it will be addressed. And if I don't think it's addressed properly, I'll have a quick address of it. Comment further down, a quote attributed to various golf players when accused of being lucky. I find that the more I practice, the luckier I get. And I think that will be addressed too. But just in case it isn't, Tiger Woods, my favourite one. Lucky to be born to a father that wanted him to be a good golfer. He was lucky to be born the sort of child that wants to please his father. Lucky to be born as the kind of child that is determined. As in, he had a determined little character and grew up into a determined big character. To practice and to please his father, etc., etc. Keep going. I've got this nice little program where I can mark on the website page. You say that the author implies, since everything is predetermined, there is no point in making any effort. It's not what they're saying at all. It's not about predetermination. They are saying the fact that you want to make an effort is a matter of luck. That's it. That's what I just said. Tiger Woods wanted to make the effort. Why did he want them to make the effort? Because he was created that way. Random chance. Yeah, it is random chance. Well, is it random chance? I don't know, because that's bringing in something that's a kind of a different thing, like from physics or something into this. I'm not sure if it is random chance. Quite the opposite of predetermination, actually. I don't know what that last sentence, I don't know what he's meaning by that. But that's basically the thing. Okay, maybe he hasn't addressed that properly. Since everything is predetermined, there's no point making any effort. You are made to be the sort of person that will make an effort, or the sort of person that will not make an effort. After hearing everything is predetermined, everyone goes around saying it, oh, everything is predetermined. You hear it everywhere. You are the sort of person that reacts this way, or you're the sort of person that reacts that way to information coming in. If everything is about you is determined by luck and can therefore and can therefore not take credit for your own success. It follows that you cannot be held responsible for anything bad you do. Is this really something you want people to believe? These are two different things. The first thing is, it follows that you cannot be held responsible for anything bad you do. That's actually in between. You cannot take credit for your own success. We could say you shouldn't take credit for your own success, but for the moment, you're probably the sort of person that has been created that will take credit for your own success. Yeah? Because that's what, well done, haha, arms around shoulders, you ran 100 meters in whatever it was. Bravo, and you go, yeah, I've done it. So you will do it because that's what that is creating. They're creating yous that will take credit for your own success. And it follows that you cannot be held responsible for anything bad you do. You cannot be held responsible. It depends what the outside world's doing. The outside world is under the same rules, laws, as you are. Is this really something you want people to believe? I think we come to it later. It either will or won't happen. It's obviously right. This is why I keep going on about it. And people can say, well, everyone feels as though they've got free will. It's obviously wrong. You know, when something is honestly wrong, there will come a time probably in the future that it can't be kept being ignored, and that will come out more and more. More people will say, no, it's quite right. And then, is this really something you want people to believe, that you cannot be held responsible for anything bad you do? They're still two different things. You either will be, that's external forces, you will be held responsible for what you do, or you won't be, dependent on what society is doing at the time. It is irresponsible to say is written badly. It's irresponsible to say. Maybe at the moment it is irresponsible to say it, because it goes against of everybody else. But it might be said more and more in the future in more and more different ways, which come out to being not irresponsible. But I would almost say at the moment it is irresponsible to say it, because people don't understand it properly and could take it the wrong way. And I'm presuming that you're above all this. If you can commit evil deeds, you were born, circumstances have turned you into exactly the person able to commit such nefariousness. Oh, good on you for nefariousness. And good on you for the sentence. It seemed quite good. I don't think I'd be able to kill a person, maybe except in extreme cases of self-defense, or to steal, except in cases of extreme need. For that matter, I even have trouble lying, but that's because I was born and brought up under certain circumstances. But I have no doubt that if I was born under different stars, I could have been different. He was going very well until then, but I mean, he's just using the words that he's been brought up with. I have no doubt if I was born under different stars, I could have been different. No, there is no I to be different. The only I that there is the one that you are. That's it. That cannot be that particular. There's nothing in there that can be taken out and given different circumstances. Anything else that's given different circumstances is a different I. It's a different thing. You can't say, I wouldn't like to be brought up in Indonesia with all that spicy food. You wouldn't be. You can't be. Because the only I that exists is the one that you are, the one that the world has created as you. If the Indonesian one would be a completely different one. There's no This is the whole big thing of this free will thing, and we'll come to it later. There's no soul that can be taken out of the I that you are and then transferred into an Indonesian one and then grown up. It's just the two creations would be completely different things. There would be no connection between them at all. Right, let's move on from him, because we've got quite a lot to do. The philosophy makes the concept of punishment absurd. How can you punish someone who you claim is not responsible? Why apply compassion liberally if no one has free will? And how could you decide to apply compassion liberally if you have no free will, etc., etc.? Society will move in a certain way and do certain things. It punishes people now for doing things in certain ways now. Or let's go to a then. There was a then time in the UK where if you stole a loaf of bread, you could be transported off to Australia. I don't think that's done now. And in the future, the equivalent of going back to when they used to transport people to Australia, but in the future, things will be done differently then. They will have taken into account things like free will, the philosophy of this, that, and the other, punishment and responsibility and all that. It will be taken into account in the future. At the moment, there's no possibility of doing a whoop jump into, okay, well, change the law courts over to no free will law courts and just see how it goes, eh? It's just there's no possibility of that. So the man comes back with, it's not absurd, it's human nature to apply compassion and to punish evil deeds, yes. At the moment, the society, the ones that have been created in society are created to do compassion, and they're created to punish evil deeds. The absurdity is free will because it implies an ill-defined magical quality that nothing else has. Doesn't evil necessarily imply free will when it's used referring to human acts, though? And that fella comes back in and says, as I see it, no, as in, doesn't evil necessarily imply free will? He says, as I see it, no. I see evil as a product of circumstances, and thus, in theory, completely avoidable. If we attribute free will, then evil can never completely be eradicated, as free will cannot by, but whatever. But we've got the idea now that the idea is posited that it's theoretically possible to have a born human being and bring it up in such a way that it will not do evil things. Even if that's possible, and I'm not so sure myself, the whole of society all round it, and that is an awful lot of society that's all round it, because you've got butterfly wings all over the place. Everything would have to be created, almost especially, to bring up this one individual. It's not going to happen. It's a pure one of those mind game things. Even if we see all these things so clearly that let's say everyone can see quite clearly that it is possible to bring up human individuals and get them never to do evil things. Would it take 1,000,000 years of getting society all organised into the right places to bring up that child that it won't have any influences that will make it do evil things? It's just highly unlikely, I think. Because a human thing, with its attachment and desires and suffering, is so easy to knock off the rails. We're going back hundreds of years now to the philosophical argument, Rousseau, and is man born a noble savage? In other words, is man born good, or is man born as evil? Or probably going to be evil, probably going to be good, or would be good given good circumstances, or would be evil given half the chance. It's been going on for hundreds of years, and we're not going to live to see any of the experiments carried out. There seems to be a lot of going down. Okay, here's some more. I do feel that I've been immensely lucky in life when it mattered. Little things, like finding the essential script in the university library way before my peers. And big things, lucky enough to be born at a time when owning a home was still affordable to the young, and massively lucky things giving birth to twins at full term, with no medical intervention. Just 'cause I was lucky that way. But no, in my work I see people who have chronic illnesses, don't know why I marked this one, born of the fact that they live their lives in poverty and they were not lucky enough to live in a wealthy part of the country. That's not just bad luck, that's social inequality on the grand scale. Those of us who are lucky really owe to the rest to redress the balance. Anything less is shocking complacency. I can see her point. But it's really twisting the whole point, big thing point around. It's saying just because the lucky ones are lucky, they should try and unlucky the unlucky ones. In principle, yes. But it just takes us into it's sociology as opposed to philosophy. Or philosophy, it's not, free will isn't philosophy, it's fucking biology. So I've only marked the top of this one, I'll see where we go. I agree with you that politically we should always work to create ladders out of poverty. And I think that's it, yeah, it's a different thing, it's politics. Every child should have a good education, yeah, good guardian stuff. Everyone should have the same start in life. But I mean, it just doesn't. It doesn't happen. And we can, we've got the no free will thing nailed. We know that now. Why doesn't it happen? But again, that's politics. Ingemar Stenmark. Oh yeah, I remember him when I was young watching telly. One of the top slalom skiers of all time once said, I don't know much about luck, but the more I train, the luckier I get. It's just the same again. You've got to be born with the physique of an Ingemar Stenmark. You've got to have the parents that can afford to put you on the pistes, that give you the best skis, gives you the best tuition, born with the right sort of mental fortitude to go out and train. There are people born with the right physique, but without the mental, however I said, fortitude to go out and train. They prefer to go out and drink. But Ingemar Stenmark, because it's the social norm, would have been applauded for the traits that he was born with. It's just like being born rich. He was born with a good physique and a good mental application capability. The capacity to train hard. Oh, I see. I was going to leave it to somebody else. The capacity to train hard, recover quickly, and rapidly metabolize lactic acid is largely genetically determined, and you can't determine your parents. It's down to luck. Okay, is that the end? I think. Oh no, there's another. Oh, got some more here. I put the phrase free will. He's doing this, or she, in the same category as words like spiritual and soul. Woolly bollocks, if you ask me. We're biological organisms battered by the tides of random chance in the cold blackness of space, searching for meaning that we're not going to find. Anyone fancy a pint? Good British commenting. I used to be unsettled by this, but it need not be unsettling. There is an understanding here that can take us away from the incessant judgments of others, guilt and self-recrimination, and towards compassion and love. After all, if we have no free will, then who can be blamed for their actions? In this understanding, there is liberation and a calming of the mind. If we can go beyond a like-dislike mind, move towards unconditional love, accept ourselves, good and bad, surrender to life, nature, the way, call it what you will, and develop a sense of amor fati, we are reconciled to life. There is also an ultimate freedom and sense of play in giving up the struggling and striving. If you stop trying to be good and can truly surrender, you might find a deeper source of goodness within yourself. Now, I've got a couple more below this, but let's just stop there and say that was my last video, or the last two videos. You can do all that amor fati stuff if you have been created as the sort of person that will be attracted and have the fortitude to do that surrender to life, nature, the way, call it what you will. If you're not, you will not do it. That's us, 20 minutes. Ta-da!